Okay, so I actually have like a whole like skeleton outline for like a whole story, for like a whole story for this about like how she ended up in Equestria and like the whole thing. Like, okay, so first of all, like how, so if this was ever to become a fanfic, like the first episode would be just her starting would be like hinting at her maybe remembering that she's actually like from this world, but yeah, so how she came to Equestria, like first off in the story, because I just really like the idea of triplets, and this name just kind of came to me, was like she's a set of triplets, and Sunset is the name that Princess Celestia gave her, not the name that she was like that like her mother Luna gave her, because like she's a set of triplets. Aurora, Boy, and Allison, named after the Aurora Borealis. She is Alice. She's Allison or Alice. Like, I've been debating calling her Aurora or Allison because Aurora apparently means sunrise and sunrise sunset. Like, cool, like very interesting. But I also imagine Aurora to be like a little, to be just to look at, just like her aunt Celestia, and Boyan to be like a little, clone of their of his mother. He's the son, and then Allison is like Sunset. Also I can name like the prequel fic to this story through the Looking Glass, because the portal is a mirror and her name is Allison, and just how she ended up in Equestria. So anyway, she ended up in Equestria because in the human world, losing Allison / Sunset is what causes the rifts between like the sisters, and at this time it was like Celestia doing the fuck up. So Celestia was watching like the kids, like it would have to be someone who like, it makes sense for them to be like at the school because the portal's at the school. So she was watching the portal. So she was watching the kids, and the kids were like right by the portal. And Celestia thought like, oh, nothing can happen, because she doesn't know the base of the statue is the portal. She probably set a baby gate around the statue to be extra safe, and the road is over there. So like she just assumed that it was like safe. They're not facing the road, but like she looks away for like 2 seconds, and like in those 2 seconds is when Aurora / Sunset walks / crosses, because like she's on like 2 or 3, like again like toddler wanders through Equestria, and of course Celestia's like, where the fuck, because obviously she's not gonna think, oh, she went through the mat, oh there's a portal in the base of the statue, and she went there. She's like, where the fuck is the child, and Celestia and Princess Celestia hearing this tiny baby, because like she's confused. She's probably like, Auntie Tia. And like, that's the whole thing with like the thing, because it's not until like much later than that Celestia even realizes, hey, this is actually from the other world. This is not my sister who's trapped in the moon somehow like having a child. Which is why Sunset's very attached. Which is why Celestia's very attached to Sunset. And I also imagine that, along with this being too young to remember, the transformation through the portal has been shown to be kind of strenuous, and that could be like really traumatic on a tiny little toddler. So she probably also has like repressed memories from like her life, because not only is like the actual like transformation, remember, she went from a tiny human toddler to a full it's a completely different species trauma. And she doesn't remember right away that like, oh, this is my world, because like, yeah, like trauma, but like but the tongue is one of the mirrors because it's from a home. And that's also the reason Celestia even like showed her the mirror in the first place, because it's another reason of like, why would Celestia show her the mirror in the first place, unless it's just like she was silently being like, this is your home, this is your home. It also makes sense because we haven't seen the human sunset yet, but in my theory, it's like, we have. It's awesome. So because it also makes sense, because if she's like my head, because if her parents is who I had canon her parents to be, then Pony Sunset wouldn't exist. And if her parents were just some other random teacher, then Pony Sunset would not know anything about human sunset, because given how people react to Twilight, the private student of Princess Celestia is not common knowledge. The only way Pony Sunset would figure out human sunset exists is if she meets one of the main 6. And that's unlikely, considering that Equestria is a whole ass country. But yeah. So anyway, it's just like, just like so Sunset starts to like silently get her like memories. I actually have like this is the only like dark scene that I have in like the fic, but I actually imagine like first of all in this fic I would make it so like she's cleaning up the dance and not the whole like statue because like even because like I've always been watching this and be like, why the fuck are we having the children do construction? That does not make sense. So in my vision of the fic, it would be Sunset is clean up the dance. Sunset and Snips are cleaning up the dance. That is their punishment because that's what makes sense. The whole they have to because the other thing it does not make sense. So yeah, this is the only dog, and it's just like sorry for like squeamishness, but like I'm gonna be like a thing, but like so if this like this little scream is gonna be tried like squeamish, but like Sunset is like mopping. It's like mopping, and she's like it's gonna be an inner monologue about her life, and she's mopping, and she's talking about like how like hey, she's coming to the realization that, hey, I think I'm actually from this world. I'm not a pony. I'm a human. But she also feels really lightheaded. And the thing she's mopping is very sticky and red. And that's enough mental picture. But, like, yeah, that's the only thing. It's just, like, I don't know why. I just like the idea of, like, Luna coming to realization. Because, again, Sunset is the name Celestia gave her. It's not the name Luna gave her. Her birth name is Allison. So Luna's not being like, she's coming in with my child. She looks like my child. This must be my child. She's been like really close because she thinks she's just being paranoid and just like I'm just seeing my child and like when she's not there, my child's missing. This is not my child. But after she realizes like what happens and Twilight gives like the wild down and just like what happened and like she probably briefly explains like, hey, there's a portal in the statue. Both Celestia and Luna realize that one that statues. Whereas little Allison went missing. That's where she was last seen on that statue. And Sunset looks a lot like a girl. Looks a lot like Allison if like she grew up and became a teenager and like they kind of connected off that like, hey, this is Allison. This is like her missing like daughter, and it's kind of one of like the tension. I also do imagine that like the wings and tails were painful, and I do imagine that like would be painful. I personally think that some people like some headcanons think that like the injuries like really like healed. I read one where it's just like she wasn't healed and like Sunset was not in the best mental space, which like I get it. Like she's just been like something traumatic, even if like she's not like going through that something traumatic and feel like defeated. Like even if it's not acting, she might be like, I deserve pain. I deserve like. And it would also, like, give a chance to be like, oh, now Luna has to, like, take her to the hospital, and, like, and Sunset's not fighting it because she's starting to remember that, like, she's a human, so, like, she might find out her family, and Luna's not fighting it, and be like, okay, so I think this is my missing child, let's do a DNA test, and, like, that's the whole find out, and it's also, like, very messy, because, like I mentioned, Sunset has, like, 2 twins, and I like to imagine that, like, bully them, and also it's just, like, So, also, I imagine Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy to be together, and I also see them as, like, polyamorous, so I'm just, like, Pinkie Pie, Fluttershy, oh, and just, like, adding that in, because, like, obviously I can't, like, because in, like, Pony World it's, like, Discord, but, like, different ages be, like, So, gonna start off with, I think human Discord is a therapist, because I feel like psychology is, like, really chaotic. Pony Discord is the equivalent of a 23-year-old. Same with all the main six, which big thing, just like I don't just like Equestria girls ages. Obviously they're teenagers. Pony ages. They're not teenagers, which is why Sunset with Pony Twilight makes me feel because to me that's essentially a teenager with an adult and be like time things. But it's like first of all, I actually think that she is the pony. The human Sunset, so obviously if she was older, she would look older and have like an older body because like this is the world that she's meant to be in, and also just like she's just mentally a teenager. But yeah, and just like I like to imagine like obviously that like didn't happen, but I just like I knew she doesn't remember. I truly believe that she is the human Sunset because even if like because either the human Sunset doesn't exist, which I find that very unlikely since humans are broader, so I find it very unlikely that ponies don't exist, the humans don't exist. I can see the other way around. And also, even if the pony Sunset was dead, Sunset's like, a very prominent figure, friends of the dead human Setsa would be like, who the fuck is this and why is she at